All right, folks, what is going on? Thursday night wrestling outlet. You have Boxman here. I'm sure Smark is actually on right now. If you guys give me just a second, let me close this out. Before we even get started, let me go ahead and get Smark on here. Hold on. I will call him right now. Call him right now, Smark. Turn that down a little bit for you guys. Sorry about that. All right, we got Smart now. What's going on, man?
What's up?
Oh, nothing. Not much at all. I just literally went live like 2 minutes ago, maybe. So I haven't said a word. But I do need to switch the camera over real quick. So give me a minute. I'm doing that as we speak. Everyone's camera just locked up, but it'll come right back on in just a second here. There we go. Let me go back into Skype. You'll be able to see me in a second. There we are, and there we are. Look at that. There it is, folks. There we are. Don't we make a pair? The Terrible Two. That's right, folks. Once again, Wrestling Outlet. I am Boxman. This handsome gentleman here is
the one and only, the voice of Mr. Wahlberg. How are you?
I'm all right. It's been a week. Let's just leave it at that. It's been a week. It's been a long week.
Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back with you.
All right, no problem. Yeah, it's been one of those weeks, folks. I am happy we have a 3-day weekend coming up with Labor Day. I hope a lot of you have a 3-day weekend coming up with Labor Day, but that should be good. That should be good. I definitely need this 3-day weekend. And then next weekend, I've got the daughter's birthday, and my son's birthday is 6 days later. So I got some busy weekends coming up after this relaxing 3-day weekend. So I'm kind of happy. I'm a little excited about that. So we do obviously have some stuff to get into tonight. We have All In that finished. That was a great show. We have All Out coming up this week because, hey, why give it a week between pay-per-views? Payback is also this week, I believe, too.
It's on Saturday.
Like everything is, like every pay-per-view is on this weekend. So, man, craziness going on, sir. Craziness. Indeed. But, Smart, did you watch All In?
I did, yes.
You did?
I didn't watch the pre-show because I'm that much of a nerd.
Really? Well, I mean, right after the pre-show kind of let's face it, no one's talking about skewers. No one's talking about new champs, Zariah. Everyone's talking about Punk and Perry. Perry and Punk. Punk and Perry. Punk and Perry. Perry Punk. That's all anyone's fucking talking about. That's really it. So, hell, don't call me at fucking 8:40 at night, goddammit, whoever you are.
The audacity.
I know, especially on a Thursday. Don't you fucking know what happens here on Thursday nights? God damn it. I don't know. It looks like it says scam likely. So I'm just not going to answer it, obviously. But, what did you think? We're almost a week already, so it's not worth really just, match by match. But what'd you think?
Good. Pre-show was kind of interesting because that's when the Jack Perry thing happened. They had the pre-show, it was him and Hook in the pre-show, and there was, I want to say, a limo. Yeah, because he came out in a limo, and he pointed to the camera and he pointed at the limo and he said, "This is real glass, cry me a river." And I was like, "Oh, look at him being sassy." But little did I know that would set forth an entire fucking week's worth of drama and nonsense.
Yeah, I think my dog wants to get out, so hopefully someone will get up and do it. But anyway, yeah, it did set forth a plethora of problems in AEW. Smart. This is I honestly can't believe we have to sit here tonight and talk about another incident with I mean, we're coming up on almost a year of All Out, and we're coming up on almost another. By the way, I think I had the under on 6 months. I forgot if I think you might have taken the under too.
It seems likely.
I really can't believe we have to sit here and talk about this again. And
you would almost thought with everything that happened last week with the whole, Terry Funk and Wyndham passing within like 24 hours, you would think that maybe people learned they put past petty squabbles and life's too short for that. But hey, no, we still have petty infighting like every other week.
Yeah. I mean, you can sit there and go, well, they're a family. They fight. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. I'm not buying that shit. I'm not doing it. But we definitely will get into that tonight. I believe Smark's word optics will come into play a few times tonight as we're talking. I just have a gut feeling that's going to be a word that you may hear a few times tonight. But we've got a few things to get into before that. And folks, I'm going to stick with the sharing of the browser. I mean, you guys can follow along with stuff, and the pictures are right there. The same pictures I usually pull are right there, so it's kind of worth it. You guys can see where the article came from. You can follow along, and I think it's a better way to do it. Smart guy. Don't know if you like it, but that's what we're fucking doing.
Well, then I love it.
I made it bigger. You get everybody, like I said, everybody can read and follow along with us. I mean, even when we're doing we'll do some predictions later. Even when we're doing those, it's just kind of you can see here, it just kind of pops up, and as we're talking about matches, I can just go like that, and look, you got Luchasaurus popping up there, Christian Cage popping up there, Orange Cassidy's popping up there. I think we're gonna be all right. I think this might be a new way to do it.
Kind of get the vibe of back in the day when you were in school and everybody would read along in the history book.
There you go. It's gonna be like school. The only problem is half these websites have so many goddamn ads. I hope we don't get hit with anything. I think the worst that would happen, since we're not monetized. Good evening, Mr. Butler, Stephen Butler, joining us. I think the worst that would happen is they would add ads to our videos, and those places would get the monetary value of it, which I don't care. That's fine. But we'll do that. Now, Smart, we have one quick thing. Actually, let's go ahead and keep with All Out. Sorry, or All In. Sorry. Now, I'm going to get confused tonight. I'm telling you right now.
Mm-hmm.
All In. What else did you have? You were kind of in the middle there.
I mean, yeah, like you said, everything kind of already happened before, but it's been a couple of days. The only thing I really wanted to touch on that made me kind of laugh that nobody was really talking about was they had the stadium stampede.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a point in the match where Pentagon got injured, air quotes. And he did a hell of a job selling it because I watched it a couple of times and he went limp and his body folded up and it looked like he might have had a neck injury. And I was like, ooh, shit. But it turned out, obviously, they ended up coming back with that wardrobe change because that'll give you the tactical advantage you need. I was thinking about that, though. Imagine if you're his team. Let's just pretend everything is on legit, on the up and ups. Imagine if you're one of his teammates and he was gone from the match for 15 minutes so that he could put on all red attire. It's we're getting our asses kicked out here, and you're trying to fucking do a fashion show. You motherfucker, how dare you?
Yeah, excuse me, Cher. Do you mind getting to the fucking ring here? Okay. I mean, what the fuck?
I question the tactical decision behind that, but other than that, yeah,
it's as tactical as Jeff Hardy, as Matt Hardy getting his ass kicked, and Jeff Hardy coming down to the ring and stopping to gyrate for the audience, and then go save his brother. Okay.
Well, see, now that I can understand because he probably, owed him for some stuff that happened in the childhood.
If you think about it, he might have been fucked up, but
well, there's always that.
I'm just saying, man. That could be one way it could go. Is all I'm saying. So, That was good, but yeah, I mean, we had, like I said, we had Soraya getting the new title. It's funny. Couple of guys that look and sound just like us mentioned her pinning Tony Storm. I think about, you know what, Smark? It was us.
I think it more specifically, I think that would be you. I was thinking maybe Tony Storm would end up picking up the win.
Yeah, I actually we said either one of them could pick up the win, so it was we kind of called that one right there.
That was a feel good moment though. I didn't actually expect to be a little bit choked up watching that, but you see it, you think about everything that she's been through the last couple of years,
Yeah.
injuries and other things, and a nice little like culmination to come out with her family and everything and end up winning the belt. I will say though, we need to figure out a way to open this quote unquote forbidden door because there needs to be like a buddy cop show with Soraya's dad and Mrs. Dad because they both look like two real just absolute shysters. Like I would keep my hand on my wallet the entire time I was talking with either of them.
Yeah, they look like they grew up in traveling with a carnival. They kind of did. I mean, it's it makes sense, but you're right. It was a pretty damn feel good moment right there. Like that, she came down to "We Will Rock You," and a lot of Freddie Mercury tributes going on. Young Bucks did one. Jim Ross actually said, "Is Freddie Mercury here tonight?" I didn't get if he was being sarcastic, joking, or serious.
Well, he's getting a little bit older. I think he walked past Emi Sakura and was like, Freddie Mercury is in the house.
She doesn't even do the gimmick anymore.
Yeah, I know. She must be listening. I've talked her out of it.
Yeah. This guy doesn't get it. I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
I can't, that's the thing that disappoints me every time they have a pay-per-view, because every time they have a pay-per-view, there's always the inevitable like post on Twitter, on Reddit, on all these other places that are just like Jim Ross should retire. It's like no. Like is he as good as he used to be? No. But I mean, come on, the man's fucking his wife passed away, he keeps falling over shit. Like he needs this. Just let the man have it. Like the commentary is not any significantly any worse than if it was, if he weren't on their show. And like I'm glad that the fucking social media isn't what it was back in the day because there would have had to been like dozens, like droves of fucking people saying that Bobby Heenan should have been off WCW commentary.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I didn't see a ton of hate for Jr. this week, thank God. And we're sitting here talking about fucking arguments and all kinds of shit like that. We really shouldn't be worried about fucking Jr. Worried in a different way. Let's put it that way. We shouldn't be worried about Jr. slipping up a few times. He's getting older. The guy, that's a long travel for Jr. for a guy his age.
Right.
That is a
Well, and
long.
there was that one point where I think it was during the six man, and by the six man I mean like the Young Bucks and uh, Bullet Club Gold, where it's like the referee had lost control of the match and he was like yelling at the wrestlers, and he was just like all disappointed and angry that he couldn't get anything under control. And he's like, Jim Ross and commentary was like, well, if only it was your job to control the match.
Yeah, Jr. I'm telling you, man, we have don't DGF Jr. doesn't give a fuck no mo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, my dog is barking outside the window. But yeah, Jr. just don't care no more, at all. But what else do we need to get into on that pay per view that was good? We had Santana and Ortiz. Don't know what's going on there. Mike Santana is now his name, so if that gives you any idea.
I think I could be wrong, but I think he was going by that right before, like right during the Blood and Guts where he got injured. So I think he like has started to make that transition, and then he got injured. And now he's like getting back into it because I certainly that's what he goes by on Twitter and all of that. So like he was
Right.
trying to make that more of his brand or however you want to put it.
Yeah, you're right. He was, and yeah, Dirk said Jr. asked why there's so much gold. I think that was during that match, and Ibushi was in it. Correct? Yeah, Ibushi was in it, and he's the golden whatever they call him.
Golden Elite in this instance, and it was
Right.
Club
And
Gold.
JR was like, why is everything golden? And Excalibur had to explain to him about the whole golden thing with Ibushi and everything. And I don't know. JR's just, I don't know if it's JR that's bad or if it's the fact that Excalibur doesn't have any chemistry with JR, maybe.
Yeah, that can also be it. And but I mean, like he also represents a certain percentage of people that are watching the show that don't know about all this shit.
True. True. And let's face it, JR does represent a good portion of the show that people of who watch wrestling do watch. And you don't really have that many good old Southern boys on AEW.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Can you hear the dog barking out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can. Hold on a minute here. Let me just try this. Aha! Probably just scared the living shit out of him, but he's outside. That's fine. Yeah, Jericho Osprey, good match. Stephen Butler says that was his match of the night. That was a good match. What else? Like I said, it was almost a week ago, so I'm lucky to remember what I watched last night.
I mean, it all depends on what you're
So
looking in terms of
yeah,
like moves and everything. That's probably it. But I mean, in terms of like sheer story and everything that was like put into it, and like what happened afterwards, then the main event was it was a damn good main event too.
yeah. All right, they're getting my dog inside right now. I was about to text my wife, get the dog. Huh.
I actually think in terms of just like sheer like the wrestling aspect of it, I think the tag title match was probably on the pay-per-view was probably my favorite, but don't tell anyone because I don't like giving Dex credit.
I know, but still, it was good. I was a little shocked with everything going on that FTR kept the titles, but I guess Tony's letting this all work out. Letting it all work
Hmm.
out. I mean, what the hell? If he goes to jail, you take the titles off of him, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's going to jail. I got to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to jail.
Have a conjugal visit match.
He could have a few of those. Could have a couple of those. Is he married? I think you have to be married to have those now.
Nah, I suppose.
I don't know if he's married or not. Old Cash Wheeler.
Yeah, well, I mean, how would you ever know? Because Dax never shuts up about his fucking family. So.
That's right. Family, tradition, it's business. My truck.
Mhm.
I love my truck too. God damn it.
It's like it's like he's given like a list of bullet points to hit before he talks, and then he just only says the bullet points. Like he doesn't realize that you have to flesh it out.
Yeah, you got to. This guy. It's got to come off naturally.
He went to the Cody Rhodes School of Promoing, like America, justice, interracial.
Trucks.
This is all the things I believe.
God damn it. Trucks. Dogs with bandanas
Mhm.
on them. Scared of pyro. Imagine that. A dog scared of fucking fire. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, who could have ever anticipated that a dog would be scared of fireworks? There's not like a news article every year around July 4th time that tells you to fucking not every dog's outside during fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, people literally actually drug their fucking dogs on July 4th. But no, 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 no. Cody's dog, because it's Cody's dog. No, fireworks don't bother his dog. That's right, Dirk. Pickup trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Texas. Pickup trucks in Texas are fucking expensive because everybody has one here.
I see.
Everybody's got a fucking pickup truck here. And I'm not going to complain. That's right, Dirk. America. Fucking America. Right here, baby.
Saw somebody wearing shorts and cowboy boots today, and it was unsettling.
Was a guy or a girl?
Mm,
Guy?
there's a
Guy.
guy.
Yeah, you don't even see that here. You see girls wearing that, which that's I got no issues with that at all. So shit, you got girls with sundresses and cowboy boots on here a lot.
Oh yeah, that's fairly common here too. But
Yeah,
shorts and cowboy boots, it's a whole nother vibe.
a whole nother vibe. Yeah, whole nother vibe. I agree. I agree. So, all right, I'm trying to think what else we got with All In before we move on. Was that pretty much it? I mean, we'll get into more of it as we talk AEW tonight. So,
I mean, I'm trying to think of some other things. There was a coffin match that was pretty good. Sting came
hmm
out to the WCW theme. Chris didn't like set up with the spear the same way Edge does, so they're certainly at least teasing the idea.
yeah, of course, we've got new ROH tag champions with MJF and Adam Cole. MJF retained. They got into a little argument, but they hugged it out at the end.
I'm cheers to them for not doing the obvious thing because I thought that they were going to turn on each other at two different points of the night, and it never actually happened.
I think everybody did, and I think actually that was pretty good idea not to do the turn right
hmm
here. It may happen this weekend. It may happen this weekend for all we know, but probably a good thing. I would milk the shit. This they are selling merch. Everybody's into it. I would milk the fuck out of this.
Yeah, I mean it's a compelling storyline. So until you have at least another one to like take its place, why not just ride this some bitch out?
Yeah, I would absolutely let this motherfucker ride as long as I could, man, because it's one of the best stories they got going on.
hmm
It's funny. It's a good story. I love watching Roderick Strong be the cuck.
Oh yes, it is great.
Absolutely fucking love it. It's a happy moment in my life. So I love this shit. I think it's a great fucking story going on. So I would milk it. I wouldn't
Mm.
I wouldn't stop it right now. And I know you still have more left, even if they do turn on each other. I get it. I get it. I get it. I do. But my God, how much better would it be if they just milked this for a little while longer? And it looks like they're gonna because with Roderick Strong entering this another fucking tournament that they're having, the winner faces MJF, then it looks like they're gonna let it go. It looks like they're going to not turn on each other right now, and there's going to be some things going on with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom guys. My God, it's like they took the worst three talkers in the business and said, you know what? Let's put these three guys together.
hmm
That Matt Taven, isn't he the guy when he was like ROH champion? People despised him as champion.
Yeah, like it was a pretty bad time for Ring
That
of Honor.
was him. Okay, then let's
And
just
like, mind you, this is Ring of Honor where they've always prioritized wrestling over like promo ability. Not saying that there's never been anybody on their roster that could do good promos. There was a couple, but that's never really been the thing that they prioritize. And like, even for Ring of Honor standards, even for a company that like had Low Key as its champion, Matt Taven was a fucking low point in terms of promo ability.
Uh, I mean, Mike Bennett did cut a pretty passionate promo, but it was just cut dry, cut dry. It was just it's the same promo we've heard everybody cut on AEW before.
Mm-hmm.
So it really wasn't anything big. So I
Well,
don't know,
that's
man.
that's the thing is like that was actually a good promo for them.
I know
So
for
like
one of
that's
them,
something that you can look forward to if they're going to draw this out for their involvement in this for more than a couple of weeks.
Roddy couldn't even fucking get names right. He had to stop and think to say names correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So it just wasn't good, and we won't get into it anymore later, but we'll pass that part. Um, yeah, that was awful. That whole segment was just bad. As soon as they fucking stepped into the ring, it brought the segment down. Crowd didn't give a fuck either.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd didn't give a shit either. So, um, anyway, I think that's pretty much all we got on All In. Anything else?
No, I thought it was a good show. What did you think?
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely thought it was a good show. It looked great. I can't believe so many people were online the whole time, just posting, like people still walking in the arena, and they're like, "This doesn't look like 80,000." Oh, fuck you.
Yeah,
Fuck you. I don't care if scalpers had those tickets. And
unfortunately, scalpers have all tickets. So.
I know, but okay, if if I own a restaurant, someone, and my goal is to make 100 pizzas in a day, and some idiot comes in and buys 100 pizzas, my goal is reached. I got my
Right.
money. Everything else is gravy. So they definitely had a hell of a fucking show. That was
Mhm.
a hell of a fucking show, man. And it looked great. It looked packed. They got very lucky. Everyone was posting that there was rain threatening the show, and we didn't get any rain. We got lucky. They had the tarp over the ring. I saw that just in case, but never needed it. And I thought the show looked good. I just love the looks of those outdoor shows, man.
Yeah, it does. It does make it feel a lot bigger, even if they're in like just sort of a regular size stadium or a stadium that they're accustomed to running. Like
Yeah.
when WWE did it when now they did like SummerSlam. Like last year they did SummerSlam in Nashville in the Titans Arena,
Mm.
and it looked real nice over there too.
Yeah. I just, for some reason, I really love the outside looking venues, and I think they always look great. I know they would prefer to be inside, those guys, in case of weather, rain. I mean, Jesus Christ, let's say they had a show in Florida this fucking week, they'd be pretty SOL.
Well, I think Samoa Joe in particular doesn't want like outdoor shows anymore. They had him out there in the fucking poncho just getting dumped on, and then they fired him like 2 weeks later.
It shows like
Or,
if you hand me a mic, I'm just gonna quit. Okay.
Joe, kill time. Like, no, I'll kill you first.
I'll shove this poncho right up your fucking ass. All right.
Mhm.
Poor Joe. You know what though? He seems to be happy. He's not working a ton. Probably staying more healthy than he has in a while, and good for him, man. Good for him out
Mhm.
there. So, all right. Like I said, we'll as we talk AEW tonight and some of the matches, I'm sure we'll get into some more that happened on All In, and of course, we're going to, like I said, do some quick predictions for All Out. Let's see how we get into this news thing. If we have time, we'll talk AEW Dynamite. Otherwise, we'll do what we did last week. We'll do predictions, talk Dynamite while we do predictions, and we'll see. We'll see what time allows. We'll see how this CM Punk thing goes, folks.
Mhm.
But we do have one quick thing, Smark, on the Bray Wyatt thing. A little more news came out on not on the, I wouldn't say it's not the cause of death, but it could be a reason for his death. Jason Solomon put out a few days ago that TMZ had more on this. It said he was hospitalized a week earlier for a heart issue. That we had talked about. He had some heart issues, and that he had gone to the doctor the morning of his death. The morning of his death, he was advised to continue wearing his external heart defibrillator, which is designed to treat sudden cardiac arrest. He then later went to take a nap, and he never woke up. Police later found the defibrillator in his car. Unbelievably sad. That is, I guess, sad because possibly this was preventable. And I use possibly because we never know, obviously. But what that thing looks like now, and I'm sure he was thinking the same thing, is this thing looks really fucking uncomfortable. And I'm not going to lie, it does. It does look incredibly uncomfortable. Here you go. This is it right here. This is right off of a college website. You see, it's got the FDA thing right there, but you can see it looks like it, you know what? I would say it's almost like a bulletproof vest. It just doesn't have the back guard on it, but it's like that. It's got like a pack on it, and it's got the two little defibrillator things on the inside. So it would have sent an electric shock to his body.
Thanks.
Would it have saved him? We're not going to say because we don't know. We really don't. But no, it does not look. It is kind of a CPAPy type thing. Yes, Aria, it's CPAPy. Or CPAPy. Oh, yeah, Pappy. Where's B Pappy? I don't know.
Is it like a pirate father? A sea
I
daddy?
think it is now. Me pappy. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But yeah, there's what it looks like right there. And it does not look like something comfortable to sleep in. But like I said, we don't know. Possibly could have prevented his death. We don't know. We don't know. But that is definitely some sad news. And obviously, if anyone's been watching any sort of wrestling this week and last week, there was plenty of tributes to Bray with all kinds of things going on, bracelets and outfits and lanterns being held up. So there was a lot of different things going on with tributes to Bray. And Becky Lynch on SmackDown was probably the saddest one. She just broke down. She held up that she had an armband on that said Bray. She just held it up and broke down. Just couldn't hold back the tears anymore. And it was a pretty sad moment there. Pretty sad moment. But to change gears a slight little bit, we also had a great picture though of Big E, who actually right after that went to a Cubs game and found a little kid with a Fiend mask on and a Fiend shirt and a belt and the clothes. I mean, Big E looks like he's about to burst out smiling here. He is smiling, but he looks like he looked so proud of this kid.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so that was pretty cool to see. But, all right. And that's, and obviously we lost Bob Barker last week, folks. I don't have any pictures, but we lost Bob. Let's all remember one of the best celebrity guest hosts was Bob Barker with Chris Jericho. Was one of the best.
Indeed,
So
I would say that. Since you were talking about the Cubs briefly, like, it's not wrestling related, but it's worth mentioning. There was a last Friday, the Friday that just happened. There was a shooting at the White Sox game, and the shooter, concealed their gun by tucking it, and this is from the article,
ooh,
under one of their belly fat rolls, which I have to say, somebody smuggling in a gun under their belly roll is one of the most Chicago sports crimes I've ever heard. And I say this as a Chicagoan and a fan of Chicago sports. That is definitely a fucking Saturday Night Live skit waiting to happen.
yeah, that's right. The Bears. The Bears.
Mm,
Just put that under
God
your
bless.
fat
And it
roll.
was a woman too, so God bless her.
Yeah, just put that under your fat roll there, June. Yeah. Okay. Just
I
lift
think that
up.
was the truly
Come on,
shocking
lift
thing, was
that.
a female that did it, but
It was a female.
everything else is pretty much par for the course. I just didn't expect it to be a lady.
Come on, just lift that titty. Lift that thing. No, higher. Come on, higher. Oh my lord. It's sad. And they actually they brought it in to shoot someone at the stadium.
Well, apparently it discharged
Oh.
unexpectedly. So I don't know what the plan was necessarily, but that's the rumors that it went off when it was not supposed to.
I'm really envisioning bad stuff and I just need to stop because I'm just forget it. Forget it. But yeah, that's a crazy little story. I also know in Chicago, I believe last weekend or last week, Univision was doing the Spanish station was doing a story on how crime has risen in Chicago, and they got robbed live on air.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Like I said, they didn't even stop the game. They let the game go on because they didn't want anybody to become like uncomfortable or suspicious. They didn't want anybody to become afraid. Which
oh
I mean,
well,
in Chicago, if you announce over the intercom that there's been a shooting, everyone's just going to shrug and go about eating their hot dogs.
yeah, with everything Chicago does.
Well, I've obviously have since moved. I live in Tennessee now, but like one of the last times I was over there, somebody just got kidnapped in fucking broad daylight. Like they showed a video on the news of like a van pulling up, grabbing somebody, and they never found the people who did it. Like somebody just went up and disappeared, broad fucking daylight, like on a highly populated street.
That Chicago, and no, I mean, listen, What? A gun went off in a titty? Let's keep this fucking game going.
Hmm.
So the gun discharged and hit nobody.
That part I don't remember. I was like sort of enraptured by everything else.
I understand. I understand. I do. I totally understand. So, all right. Well, AEW is in Chicago this weekend, folks, and they were last night too. So
Hmm.
perfect timing. But all right. I guess from here we can get into a few things before we get into the CM Punk Jack Perry, the Punk Perry Punk debacle. Because I think we're gonna spend hopefully as little time as possible, but we always say that, and then next thing you know, 40 minutes goes by.
Hmm.
It's my fault. I rant. I'm sorry. Sorry.
And like 38 minutes of it is just Kevin Bacon related. And like 2 minutes actually has to do with Punk and Perry. But it's usually how the sets up going.
Fucking Kevin Bacon's awesome, dude. I don't know what the fuck, man.
Yeah, you know?
Don't you start trashing Footloose on here. I'll fucking come across this goddamn screen.
I dare not. No worries.
There you go. Don't mess with Chris Ben. Don't fucking you do it and just don't you fucking do it. All right. All right. I'm okay. I'm all right. You okay?
I'm good.
You're good. I'm good. So if you're good, I'm good. Anyway, folks, let's go ahead and get to this real quick. We'll start off with this one real quick, I guess. Impact, folks, is actually having their 1,000th episode, and Awesome Kong will be returning to the ring. They've got a few things planned for this little thing here. And obviously, like I said, this is the only problem is the ads popping up, especially on fucking Wrestling Observer. God damn you. Jesus. DJ fucking Hyde would be proud of this shit. But yeah, that's all happening in White Plains, New York, folks, on September 9th. I think the Dudleys are supposed to get back together. I think the beautiful, at least a couple of the beautiful people are getting back together. I know Velvet Sky and Angelina Love are going to be there also, and a few more. But this is pretty cool. It's been a few years since we've seen Awesome Kong in the ring.
Yeah, last time I remember, she had retired at the NWA show, which was Gail Kim.
Yeah. I don't know if it has that info in it, but we will definitely be seeing her. And I think that's pretty, like I said, I just thought that was something that should be brought up. I think that is really cool. And, like I said, she's been, yeah, when was that? What was that? 29, when did you say that was? 2019? 18?
I want to say 2021. I believe it
Okay.
was the 75th anniversary show. It was like the one where fucking Tim Storm won the title.
Oh,
Like, yeah, it was a real barn burner of a show. Um, I was always kind of disappointed with how AEW handled her because they threw her in that fucking god awful nightmare fucking syndicate or whatever the fuck they were calling it, a stable with
yeah.
Brandy, and it was like the bald lady that wasn't Serena Deeb but looked like Serena Deeb. Nightmare Society, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And then like after that, they kind of just they blamed her for Brandy not being able to cut a promo, and it's like, boy. And I felt bad because she was on an episode of Talk is Jericho when she was with the company, and like she went into exhaustive detail about like how she approaches every situation, like looking at it from her character's perspective of like what would Kong say in this moment, what would Kong do in this moment, like just really like sort of showing that she actually puts a lot of thought and detail into how her charter is presented, which
that.
not everybody does. And then sure enough, a couple weeks later, she ends up getting canned, but. It's kind of a real ball drop of a moment there. They really missed the boat with her.
Yeah. Aria says, Lord have mercy, that lady looks intense. She was intense. She's had some very intense moments. Actually, on Impact, known for having some of the best women's matches with Gail Kim. So they were lighting it up when those two were out there. Those were heavily. That was probably one of the main times where Impact or TNA at that time was really being talked about. Was when her
She
and Gail
unintentionally popped a wrestler's implant.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. She slapped the shit out of Bubba the Love Sponge. I think she's like the only. Well, no, that's not true. I was gonna say I think she's like one of the only women that I've heard of that's like beat somebody up backstage. But it was her, Luna. Allegedly, Luna like kind of jacked up Sunny. But
Well, I mean, if you really want to get into it, Taryn Terrell kicked the shit out of Drew McIntyre too. But
that's what made me say, actually, hold on a minute, never mind. I was like, yeah, that never mind. She also slapped beat up another guy, but that one was a bit different.
a bit.
Because I feel like Drew was just like letting her do it versus I don't think Bubba was letting her do it. Even if he stood up for himself, I think she would have fucked him up.
I think so, probably. Yeah. But
Because she is a full-grown woman. That is a woman who can throw a motherfucker around. Yes, I understand Bubba is not exactly svelte himself, but I personally wouldn't fuck with her.
yeah, but there's people out there that look like that. There's some guys just they don't look like they you don't look like he can't fight. Bubba the Love Sponge looks like a guy who has probably never thrown a punch before.
Right.
So, but yeah. Stephen Butler says he's no fan of Anthem or Impact, but props for 1,000 episodes. Man, I'll tell you, they've been through a lot. They've been through owners changes. They've been through management changes. They've been through the Jeff Jarrett days, the Dixie Carter days, the Hulk Hogan days, the Ric Flair days, the Eric Bischoff days, and they just keep fucking pushing through, man. They just keep going and going and going. They're the fucking Energizer Bunny of wrestling, man. I don't even want to call them the cockroaches anymore. They seem to keep making it. I don't know how. Maybe, I hate to say this, maybe this is a good write-off for Anthem Sports.
Perhaps. I think the only theory I have is that at one point Ron Killings was their champion, and I think some of his immortality just brushed off on the company.
That man has looked the same age for 20 fucking years. I give him props. And he's a smoker. And I don't know how he does it, man, but
I watched because he did an episode of the Celtic Warrior workout YouTube videos that Sheamus does, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna do whatever he does because that motherfucker does not age at all ever. Like 5 years is 1 minute to him, so it's like, I'm gonna do whatever he does. I physically cannot do anything that motherfucker did in that workout. He was like doing these like high jumps and he was just like jumping over and shit and very cardio intensive. And he was injured at the time, and he was doing shit that most physically healthy people cannot do. And it was like, whew, my God.
That's why he's pushing 50 and looks like he's still 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking anomaly when it comes to fucking just absolutely looking amazing. But yeah, he's looked the same for 20 years. It's funny, you sit there and bring up guys who look young for that long, and then, actually at work we were having this conversation the other day about guys who have just been old since I was a kid. Like Steve Martin has just been this old white-haired guy since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Clint Eastwood has been old since I was a kid. Christopher Lloyd has been old since I was a kid. There's just people that have been old since you were a kid, and then there's those people that have just stood the fucking test of time.
They should literally just do that one day for an episode of like their programming when they do the Then, Now, and Forever like opening sign, and it's just all just pictures of truth, and from like the last 20 years, and he just hasn't aged at all on any of them.
No.
It's like, here's him, K-Quick, looks exactly the same. Here's him in fucking TNA, looks exactly the same. Here's him yesterday, looks exactly the same. Here's a picture of him with Tupac, fucking exactly the same.
Guessing what year a picture of R-Truth came out because of the way he looks would be as easy as reading lips watching a cartoon.
It's actually a pretty interesting game. Just like, how old is Truth in this photo? It's like 28 and just all of them.
Yeah. When did this photo come out? Oh, this has to be like 92. Nope, yesterday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yup, yesterday. Yeah. Holy shit. I do. I mean, I remember him back when he was, what was it, K Quick?
Hmm.
Back in the K Quick days and, coming out. And I always thought he was a pretty fucking talented guy, though. So, but I don't know, man. It's just amazing how old he is and just doesn't look a day. I mean, the guy still looks like he just started in the business.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure he doesn't feel like it. I'm sure he feels way older than we talk about, but just from, he's worked a very physical style. Yeah. So, anyway, I guess we can move on from R-Truth and how amazing he looks and move on to, speaking of one show that was announced with the Impact 1000, we can go on to another show that has also been announced, which AEW, Tony Khan himself actually confirmed the date and location for Full Gear. And there you go, right there. Full Gear. I'll get as much of the picture in there as I can. Look at that picture of Punk. Look at Punk. Punk's like all over this website. So obviously this was during the post media scrum, which I think Tony was the only one left that wanted to deal with the media after this show. This was a good move on Tony. He was one of the only ones that came out. Very smart. Very smart. But yeah, he did announce that Full Gear will take place Saturday, November 18th in LA at the Kia Forum. So you guys can go ahead and look forward to that. And he also announces right here, October 1st, the Climate Pledge Arena. It will be the first ever Wrestle Dream. It's actually the 1 year anniversary of. Here you go. I got that right here. Hold on. Not that one. I lied. Here it is. Wrestle Dream right here. It is a pay-per-view. It is going to be in Seattle on October 1st. It is to honor Antonio Inoki. There you go, right there. So this is going to be another pay-per-view, which, man, they seem to just be adding pay-per-views all over the place now. It's kind of getting a little crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think this is sort of a different instance. I don't know how many of these they'll actually do. I know you said it was to honor
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Inoki.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be something that yearly, or if they participate in it on a regular basis. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know when they're going to do this. It doesn't say their first annual. It just says they announced this pay-per-view. So they may only do this on the first, his death right there. But there you go. I think it was pretty cool though. But that was another thing Tony announced on that show. But there you go. I mean, my God, it's just before you know it, they're going to have 12 fucking pay-per-views.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that also depends on, like, do you count Ring of Honor as part of that? Because you start to get to that point if you do.
Yeah. My God. I would hate for them to start having like 20 fucking pay-per-views in a year. I think that would suck for all of us. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, that would be bad, Smart. But Rick is a little something, a little up your alley, if you will. WWE made a nice little deal with the NFL. Smart. There you go. What do you think of that?
I think it's interesting. They look nice. I'm not going to drop close to $600 on that.
I don't blame you. I don't.
Because we actually had a discussion about this, and that was sort of the consensus amongst the totally inappropriate sports people, is that they look nicely done,
Mm-hmm.
but there ain't no fucking way any of us are paying $600 for that shit. What was interesting, though, is that they have 31 teams. What's interesting about that is that there are 32 NFL teams, meaning that the Jacksonville Jaguars, they do not have that belt.
So you're saying they took it off the list?
Hmm.
I get it. It does seem petty. I know it seems petty, folks.
I think that was actually done on behest of AEW. They're like, no, that we're not allowing this shit to happen.
I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't. I would not doubt it. But I get it on both sides. I really do. I could see AEW not wanting it, and I could see WWE not wanting to fucking make it. But see, this is tough because some people might actually want that belt, which I don't know who would, but some people may, and it won't be able to get done for
Oh,
anybody.
believe me, people will buy it. As a matter of fact, I was looking at I was just for shits and giggles looking at all the different belts, and I believe it was the Detroit Lions and the New Orleans Saints that they were saying that there's only a few left. So you're
Mm.
going to be seeing a lot of those at Saints games and at New Orleans, or not New Orleans is Saints games and Lions games. Is what I meant to say.
They do look nice. I'm not gonna lie; they are good looking belts. But geez, they are expensive though. Yeah, that would be pretty expensive. But yeah, these are absolutely 100%. They say right there. You see the picture, officially licensed by the NFL, and they just made this little announcement just very recently. Actually, this was just a couple days ago on August 28th, 3 days ago.
Mhm.
But there you go, folks. It's them with obviously WWE Shop and Fanatics.com. This marks the first ever licensing agreement between WWE and the NFL for these pretty cool belts. Pretty cool little
Like I already
belts.
said, somebody along the way is getting super rich.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. And this is probably a good. I mean, this. You can say whatever say what you want about WWE, but goddamn, they just keep raking in the fucking money.
I mean, it's honestly, if anything, I'm surprised that it took this long to get there. Because this is like
Yeah.
something that goes back as far as I can remember, about 2004, I want to say, because it started with the Detroit Pistons. Was they were the
Mm-hmm.
first team that I saw when they won the NBA championship. I want to say it was Rasheed Wallace had the WCW, the big gold belt that he would carry. Like it was just like a replica he got off like Shop Zone that he would like walk around with, and then after throughout the years various athletes who have won championships or teams. I believe the Eagles did it when they won their Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Just various teams and players end up like wearing like the WWE championship when they win their respective championship in their league. So it's really not terribly surprising that we are where we are at this moment.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. I do think it's pretty crazy it did take this long, but I'll tell you, I think that the merge with Endeavor is going to be a bigger it's more than just a merge that this gives them a little more, not that they didn't have clout, but UFC is just viewed as a more legit sport. I hate to say that, but it is.
Well, I mean, it also is for the most part a legitimate sport. I mean, when you go to
I,
judges' decisions, that leaves a lot of room for like, okay, who is it more financially beneficial to have
I,
win this fight?
I love that you're stepping so lightly on this subject. You're like tiptoeing on it.
It's like, well, one sort of kind of is a legitimate sport, and then the other one, I mean, maybe not always.
Yeah, that's like it may not be there. There has been many people who have said it may not be. I get it. I just
Kind of.
think, when you're throwing punches like that, and one punch can be the lucky land, that it would be hard to do that.
Mhm.
It would be tough to do that. So, um,
Well, I'm
and it,
saying more than anything when it goes to decision.
I know.
Like, it's hard for me not to believe that there are some times where the fighter that is a little bit more lucrative might end up getting the decision. It's like, it doesn't, and I'm not even blaming them. It's like, shit, if it goes to decision and you have like John Jones versus just some random dude, it's like, well, fucking give it to John Jones.
Yeah, drug test them too.
Well, that's not financially beneficial for them either.
Oh, oh no! God forbid you drug test this guy. God forbid you do that shit. I don't know, man. I'm not getting into it. How many fucking times do you give a guy a chance? All I'm
I
saying.
was actually watching, not that it has anything to do with John Jones, but I was watching the latest season of The Ultimate Fighter, and Conor McGregor was one of the coaches.
Hmm?
And like they specifically made Conor McGregor one of the coaches so that he would carry the season of the show.
Right.
So I tuned in to watch it for him, and it is about 45 minutes of Dana White talking, and then like an occasion, like 5 minutes of like an actual UFC fight, and it's just
Well,
like, oh god, like I
well,
don't need to see him suck his own dick on a weekly basis. Like I got like 3 episodes in, and I was like, I don't want to see Dana White stroke himself off. And the funniest one was like last year it was females. So
hmm
all female fighters, and he showed up at the Ultimate Fighter house, and he like showed all the ladies his car, like how nice his car was, and I was like, dude, you did not get laid before you had money. It is very obvious. You're like, look at how cool I am. I've got a Ferrari.
yeah, I've had a couple of those too, and I'm not Dana White.
I mean, if it works, it works. But I'm just saying, it was like you don't do this to the male fighters. I've seen seasons. I know what you're doing.
Oh
You're
yeah.
fucking gross.
Oh yeah. Look how big my dick is because I have a car. I get it. I
Mhm.
get it. But Smark, you got a story or two to get spoken about.
I sure do. Let me go ahead and get there.
All right, you pick it.
Well,
You pick it. I click it.
I guess since we're talking about fights that may or may not have happened and may or may not have been legitimate, AEW had Tony Khan address the media on Thursday ahead of Sunday's All Out pay-per-view in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Khan had little to say regarding the CM Punk and Jack Perry altercation on Sunday. He was asked by Jim Italian Name if Punk will be part of All Out and responded by saying the company is continuing to investigate an incident that occurred prior to All In. Khan said he always tries to be honest with the fans and will provide an update as soon as he's able to do so. He was later asked if an answer to Punk being on the pay per view will be available before Sunday. He responded that it is their goal to provide an update by then. Khan declined to answer a question about a reported contentious conversation he had with Punk on Sunday, stating he cannot comment on any incidents. The AEW president was far more willing to speak about Mercedes Moné. No shock there.
Mm.
During the call, he referred to the former Sasha Banks as, quote, one of the best wrestlers on the planet. I'm just going to do that for every quotation mark.
Mm-hmm.
And spoke in glowing terms about the former IWGP Women's Champion. However, Khan emphasized that Monet is not cleared and likely will not be available for Wrestle Dream, you just mentioned,
Okay.
on October 1st. Monet is being blocked by a pop-up ad, has been out of action with an ankle injury she suffered at NJPW's strong resurgence in May.
She suffered?
She suffered
Oh,
shoulder surgery.
she suffered all right, boy. I'll tell you, she suffered, boy. Oh, suffer. Please go
So
ahead.
there you go. I can't read and Tony can't answer questions. A victory for adult illiteracy.
Please continue. Shh.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. Tony Khan didn't want to say anything about the CM Punk situation, but
No.
he's more than jazzed to tell you that Sasha Banks will be working there for a little while.
No, and I don't blame him for not wanting to talk about this CM Punk situation. This is fucking deja vu, I'll tell you that, man. We've done this before. And yeah, Mercedes Moné was there. We actually forgot to mention that. She was there in the stands, looking great. Did look very good out there. Dirk, we're getting into it right now. And then Smark has another one after that, and I think we're good on news from there. But this is classic Tony Khan. This is par for the course, classic Tony Khan. I'm telling you, man, he's been hanging. I think this guy's been hanging out with DJ. I'm sorry, DJ High. I'm telling you. Don't talk about anything. Plug your show. Plug people. That's it. Be done with it. So I don't know, man, but
I don't know if he's plugging people.
Oh, no, I don't mean by that. You know what I mean.
Maybe that's why he's happy to talk about her.
I don't mean that. You know what I'm talking about. I don't mean that. All right. Not that part. But all right, let's the Monet telling Britt that Baker, that doesn't work for me, sister. All right, let's get into this, Smark. This is going to be a fun one tonight. Um, folks, this is all about glass. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, as Smark, wrong picture, as Smark mentioned a little bit earlier, um, the glass as it was a spot with the limo. Now, this all does. You know what, Smark? Let's backstory this bitch. Let's little backstory. Just last week, I believe we spoke about this. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Just last week, we were talking about the whole thing with Punk and Jack Perry getting into a backstage brouhaha over wanting to use real glass versus fake glass. Remember this? I actually agreed with Punk on this. It's probably not worth using real glass on this. So
Well,
we get that.
actually, the funny thing you
Mhm.
mentioned that real quick because I was in favor of Jack Perry on this one because I was like, why is it his fucking concern if he's not in the match?
True.
And you were like, well, he doesn't want to wrestle in it, but which is fair. I hadn't considered that. But after the Blood and Guts match, they changed the canvas. So that is a solution that could have happened, but been easily attainable. Should they have wanted to do that with the whole glass situation? So that could have been a thing.
It could have. It could have. Most definitely. And then they do that a lot. They just rip off, they cut the fucking ropes and re-rope it. That's all. Not that bad. But so we're sitting there talking about that last week. And then the pay-per-view happens. The spot that Smart talked about earlier with he threw Hook onto the windshield, and then he did like a I forgot what he did, but he did like the RVD move, and then did
Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder. Thank you. I was trying. It was right there on the tip of my fucking tongue. Did Rolling Thunder. The windshield breaks. Both of them were pretty cut up from it, and he proceeds to go right in the camera and say, "Look, real glass. Go cry me a river." That's where we're at, folks. So let's just start there. Want to just start there, Smart? Let's just start there.
I was naive enough to think that nothing was going to come of that.
You know, for someone with thicker skin, it probably shouldn't have, number one. I heard a couple of people saying, well, Punk had to deal with that. Why did Punk have to deal with that after the show? You know, Punk shouldn't have had to deal with that after or right after before his match. You're right. Maybe Punk should have fucking dealt with it later. He didn't have to deal with it before his match. He chose to deal with it before his match. Life's about choices, folks. We all know this. We're adults.
Mm-hmm.
Choices. He chose to handle it right then and right there in front of everybody. His choice. Punk's choice. I want to start with that. Now, should Jack Perry have done this into the camera and said what he said? I will say no. I don't think so. Smart, do you think he should have done this?
Yeah, he's a heel, and this is what they do in the company. I mean, I guess not in hindsight, but it didn't seem like it was a huge deal at the time.
I honestly didn't think, to be honest, I thought he was trolling us as fucking fans. Like, oh, you dirt sheet reading bitches, go cry me a fucking river. That's really how I took it.
Yeah, I could see that.
That I thought he was, oh, he's trolling the fucking dirt sheets. That is how I fucking took it. The IWC, the podcast, whatever, however you want to put it, the wrestling world. Let's just leave it at that. All of us. He was fucking with us for reporting that. That's how I took this.
Right.
Well, another man took it another way.
Mm-hmm.
That man being CM Punk. Now there were reports to begin with, Smart, that there was a big scrap and Perry got choked out. Those reports seem to be not completely on the up and up. let me see. I do have one here from, as you can see right here, from Brian Alvarez. Now, it's funny. Alvarez and Meltzer seem to be very team Jack Perry here, which, I mean, just a year ago, these guys were like full on Punk fans. It just
Well,
surprises me a little bit.
well, just a year ago, he was also yelling at them.
Yeah, you got a point there.
Like, Jeff Alvarez is a new one. I mean, kind of went at Meltzer a little bit too.
Yeah, he kind of did. He kind of did. So here's what we got. Brian Alvarez was told Perry walked back after his match. As he walked by Punk, Punk asked him if he had a problem with him. Perry responded by telling Punk that that's what it said. Perry responded by telling Punk he heard what he said out there, referencing the glass. Punk then informed him that he could beat his ass. Punk then shoved him, put him in a choke. The physicality was in gorilla and got so close to Tony Khan that monitors fell on him. Supposedly, Samoa Joe broke up this fight.
I know that's not what happened, but I want it to be like just the mental image of like when they were doing the WWE, they were giving away like the $1 million on Raw, and the fucking set fell over Vince. He's like, Paul, I can't feel my legs, Paul.
Yeah, good one there. But
I wanted to have looked exactly like that, and I know that it didn't. But yes, apparently Samoa Joe had. That is what I want to believe that the Joe thing. Like, I just want to believe that Joe just walked up and just grabbed one of them by the nape of the neck like they're a fucking puppy, and just pulled them off the other one and just like knock it off.
Yeah, I could see Joe doing that. But okay. Oh boy, I can't even believe we have to fucking talk about this shit.
But that's the funny part, though, is that there's like 8 different versions of the story.
Now,
because the story one is like Punk beat Perry's ass,
mm-hmm.
and then Miro said that never happened, and then the next day there was a story that said that Punk went after Miro too, and there's no proof whether or not that happened. I'm going to say I don't think Punk's that stupid.
That turned out to be a joke. Miro was joking with Punk, which actually kind of funny, but okay. So here we go. We got this whole thing going on. Now, once again, I'm going to stick with that thing. Punk chose to do this. He did. But I got to tell you, as much as I don't really think Jack Perry needed to say what he said, it probably was completely unnecessary. He's kind of a product of his environment there. People have said and done things on the mic that there's no consequences for. People have said and done things during matches that there's no consequences for. If you get away with stuff, you're going to keep doing stuff. Okay. If you're not supposed to, all right, let's go way back here. If you're not supposed to smoke in front of your parents and you grab a cigarette and your parents don't say anything, you're going to keep smoking in front of your parents. You know what I mean? Because they didn't say anything. Why wouldn't you? You'd keep doing it. So if people are doing this, why can't he? Why can't he jump on the train of everybody else being a whiny little bitch? Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I think like that's the thing is you want to insert elements of reality into storylines and things like. He was totally okay with them like using the whole fact that his father passed away thing for a storyline. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's okay for that. But then if you try to use a story, like if you try to come talk about something that happened in the news that involved you, like that's a bridge too far. Like,
well, and again, that's why I thought he was fucking with all of us. I thought he was being like, "Oh, you fucking marks, you bought the story, blah blah blah." And then it turns out Punk took it a different way. And it's just, again, Perry shouldn't have said it, but Punk shouldn't be doing this either. If this story, supposedly, Smark, there is video of this going down. This whole thing. Mm-hmm. There is supposedly video of this. So we'll see if that ever gets released. I have a feeling we'll never fucking see it. But I mean, why shouldn't Jack Barry just do what everyone else is doing? Because there's no consequences for anybody. Tony has completely lost control of that fucking company at this point. Um, if I was a network, I would be like, do we really want this fucking drama on us for another deal for TV?
I mean, it hasn't. It appears to not hurt the company's profitability at this point. Like, who knows where we'll be in a couple more weeks or months or whatever. But they're coming off. They're on the heels of the biggest show in company history, one of the biggest like
Yeah,
attendance
right.
records in wrestling history in general, and all that kind of shit. And this episode of Dynamite was the last one before another pay per view, so the
Hmm.
ratings are going to be good for that too. So right now, I mean, if they're failing upwards.
They're lucky right now, but like people do get sick of hearing this fucking drama. Nobody wants it, Smart. And like I said in the beginning of the show, the word optics may get thrown around a little bit tonight, and it should because WWE, for all we know, there is this infighting going on in WWE, and no one reports it. So they don't have stooges like AEW does. And I'm going to say it. I might blame Punk for a few things tonight. The way he acted, I don't think it's professional. I really don't. But I'm going to go ahead and say right now, if the Bucks are leaking all this bullshit information to fucking Meltzer and everybody, fuck them too. Fire. This is the same thing I said to Dirk. I would fire their fucking asses too. Fuck it. Reset the company. Fuck it. You guys want to keep fucking making our company look like shit? You are going to pay the fucking price now. I don't know if they can be fired. I know they're pretty big fucking head honchos in that company, but I don't know, man. They have got to be whoever is leaking this information. Supposedly it's the Bucks. If it's them, they need to be fucking stopped. This company needs to give the optics that they are well put together. They are all for one goal. And look, little fights can happen here and there. I get it. But I think we all can agree on one thing, Smart. There's one common denominator that we have talked about for coming up on a year, folks, very close to a year, that whenever there's this drama going on, it's usually, there's been a couple instances it hasn't been, but who is it usually? And
Yeah, it's usually pop.
it's usually Punk. It's usually Punk. And I'm sorry, I think you got to realize something. If, I mean, supposedly CM Punk chewed out Tony Khan. Look at this. Supposedly CM Punk chewed out Tony Khan before his match and told him, oh, I quit and all this stuff, and he's not coming back. So this begs another question, Smark.
Mhm.
If CM Punk, if this whole thing went down the way everyone's reporting it, if Punk went up to him and decided to start this, which, listen, you can say Perry started it by saying what he said. You can say Punk started it by acting the way he started. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. This still goes up, as I've said, to Tony Khan. This still goes way above these two. Products of your environment. Everyone else is doing it. Why shouldn't I do it? Boss isn't going to say anything. Why not? If you can get away with being on your phone at work, you're going to be on your fucking phone. It's just the way it is. It's life. If you can get away with something, most people do it. If they can get away with it.
For sure.
But it doesn't look good on anybody. It looks horrible on the company. But the question I was going to ask: do you go back with your tail between your legs, groveling to Punk, or do you just cut your fucking losses and say, if I make this guy champion, he's gonna fuck me again. He's gonna fuck the fans again. And maybe I should just fucking cut my losses and move on. Which do you do? A or B?
I mean, it's a tough decision to make because he seems I don't know how profitable he is to them exactly anyway. But I mean, if it gets to the point where like half the roster doesn't want to work with him, then what matches can you have? You know, like that greatly reduces how effective he can be and how much you can use him and all that kind of shit. Like if you're already having to basically put him on an island and to make his own show so
Mm.
that he's fucking surrounded with people that he actually does like. You can't just keep like, you can't have like Punk versus Joe part 72 because Joe's the only person who he hasn't pissed off. Like at some point, at the very least, you have to just talk to him and be like, look, I'm paying you more than other people. There are more expectations of you than there are of others. You have to handle yourself differently.
Yeah. But again, if he's supposed to be in this leadership role on Collision, which, if we read the story correctly, Smart, it does sound like he is a leader in Collision. And you can call it a locker room leader. Oh, fuck that locker room leader shit. No, no. If he is a leader, this isn't how a leader should act. He should not be going after people. He should not be telling people, I can kick your fucking ass. No. Yeah, he probably could kick Jack Perry's ass. But still, that's not the point. There's got to be a fucking something going on here. Smart, I gotta be honest. I don't want to be watching the rise and fall of AEW in the next 5 years. I don't
Right.
want to see that video. I don't. It shouldn't happen. This company should be doing great. If Tony Khan, I got to say this again. If he can't grab this fucking company by the balls and turn it around, he's got to hire someone that can. You have to. And to me, I don't know. I think you got the guy there. I think you tell Arn, run this motherfucker.
Well, I mean, that's it's the two, it's two sides of the same coin, I guess. Is like it's a different kind of story a little bit, but like if you go back to WCW, like look at how important Hogan was to WCW. But if it's on YouTube, I recommend you watch it if you haven't already. Somebody asked Heyman like years and years and years ago when the WCW first started doing the Monday nights against Raw, if he thought that they had any chance. And like he basically predicted it exactly how it was going to go. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
no. He's like, it's not because they don't have the talent. It's because Hogan wants to beat everybody that's over 6'5", and Flair wants to get laid all the time. And it's like that's basically why they ended up going under. Was like they had the talent there, but the big egos ended up sinking the ship. It's like, yeah, okay. Like Hogan was very valuable to them, but Hogan was also probably a big part of why they ended up ultimately failing.
Very true. Very true. And I completely understand Ric Flair's, goal.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I do. I get it. But I don't know, man. I really think that, again, there's a constant denominator in all of, again, I know there's been some other fighting. Sammy Guevara has started shit. But again, a suspension does not seem to be working with these guys. You know, Punk was telling it again, if we read the story right last week, one of the reasons Punk didn't want him to use real glasses because he thought that Jack Perry didn't want to work the next week. Well, if the story's true, both y'all just got 30 fucking days off. So now he's not working.
Yeah, and then that does starts to become a problem because they're doing the pay-per-view in Chicago. And I have to
Right.
imagine that there's a large group of people that paid specifically to see Punk.
You think
So
so?
you're getting to the point where you're jeopardizing your relationship with your paying customers, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It really is. But yeah, and supposedly these guys now have been suspended. I mean, look, this is right off of, this is Sports Illustrated here, folks. Fan Nation, SI.com. So this is right off Sports Illustrated. It is Justin Barrasso, who I believe used to write for WrestleZone.
I'm not sure, honestly.
I think he used to write for WrestleZone, this guy. Um, I may be, if I'm wrong, I'm sure someone in the chat room will correct me. They're good about that, and I appreciate it. But yeah, even like I said, you've even got big companies, big. This is past just dirt sheets at this point. Sports Illustrated has confirmed that CM Punk and Jack Perry have both been suspended. This is going around, folks. I mean,
Mhm.
so this is getting traction. And Smark, the optics don't look fucking good.
Not at all.
They don't look good. Again, I'm gonna say it. I'm putting a little bit on Punk. I'm putting a lot on Tony Khan, but I've got to put some on the Bucks because if they're leaking this shit, they've got to be stopped. And if for some reason it's not them, it's someone else, stop them. The shit has got to stop. Or they may be in trouble. Like I said, we may be sitting here in 2, 3 years, 5 years watching the rise and fall of AEW,
Mm-hmm.
which, again, I don't want to watch that video. Some people may. I'm sure a lot of people do want to watch that, but I don't.
Right.
So the only person that had any semblance of reasoning in this whole story was fucking Santana. He's just fed up. He put out a tweet. Here, I'll scroll down to it. Mike Santana, right there. This is another reason I like doing it this way. We can just scroll down to the tweets. Right there. Who gives a damn about who fought who? Stop allowing that to drown out the fact that pro wrestling had one of the most amazing days ever. Grow TF up. In other words, grow the fuck up. Santana with the right words. This whole week and weekend should have been about the absolutely amazing show that AEW put out. The fact that they broke a world record with paid attendance. The fact that those wrestlers went out there and did exactly what they were supposed to do, delivered a great fucking show. But no, it's about CM Punk. Everything it seems like for the past year has been about CM Punk. He's made everything about himself.
Mm-hmm.
Overshadowed everything. Last year at All Out, we had MJF make his comeback, and it was overshadowed because CM Punk had to fucking open his mouth. Everything is overshadowed because of this guy's actions. All the
And
good.
it's a real bummer for me because like I was watching Ring of Honor like 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched him in Ring of Honor. I watched him on other independent companies, and I was watching him when he was in OVW. Like gets called up, he's in ECW, WWE, that kind of shit. And like I've been following him for years and years and years at this point, and like I would constantly see him like talk shit about like Hogan, or like he was complaining about The Rock, or he was complaining about like part-timers getting special treatment and
Mm-hmm.
all this kind of shit. And what it ultimately ended up amounting to was, it wasn't that you were mad that there was a double standard and that certain quote unquote superstars carried themselves in a way that's separate from the rest of their peers. It was that you were mad that you weren't the one that was getting special treatment.
Right.
Like you're doing just as the same type of shit that they did, if not potentially more often and worse in some instances. So it's like it's not that you didn't like assholes, it's that you wanted to be the asshole.
Mm. Wow. And they're bringing up, speaking of assholes, they're bringing up a story about AR Fox in the chat room. And Norab, I hadn't seen this yet, but I appreciate, as always, you bringing up stuff that we don't see. He's asking about AR Fox and says that AR Fox has heat and may be fired. Dirk asked, what did AR Fox do? And Norab said, supposedly he didn't tell AEW management, we know who that is, that's old TK, that he had a record and can't travel overseas. The other story is that he had to go to the service for his grandmother. Huh. Okay, a few different stories here. I don't know if AR Fox has a record. I guess we could probably plug that into Google and look that up. That should be public information if he does. But I don't feel like doing that. I haven't heard.
He's had a couple of extracurricular activities that I would be careful to look too deeply into.
Yes, I know that. I
Which I feel
I
bad because that actually probably cost him some opportunities, and that's fucked up. But still,
but I think he was just an extra in the film though, which was weird.
fucking
Or
what's his name? He used to be Alberto Del Rios, who
oh, you're
we
right.
kind of
That was Rodriguez. Rodriguez. Oh my god.
I want to say it was Roberto Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Great fucking character. He was the extra. Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. Yeah, you do what you got to do. You know.
I mean, fucking Seth Rollins was in an apartment video.
Hey,
You see, money isn't always as plentiful on the independent scene. Shit happens.
that's right. Katie Cummings was in one of those videos.
Hmm.
Porn star. Nice looking porn star. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, obviously. But I don't know, folks. I hope we don't have to keep talking about these stories. I guess if Punk is gone, I actually saw people saying, "Boy, I hope they just lift his suspension for this show." Oh, that'll teach him fucking consequences for starting fights. That'll really help.
And
That'll
after you're
help.
done with this pay-per-view, you get to stay at home for the next month. Like you
Oh
just get
my!
to take a fucking Uber right back to your apartment in Chicago where you already have the show.
You want to talk about giving one of the worst messages ever to the fucking locker room? I'll tell you the truth. I would walk the fuck out.
Mhm.
I'd be like, so we can just start fights? Oh, no, no, no. Oh, you're sure about that?
Yeah, perhaps if you're like he hasn't done anything recently, but perhaps if you're Sammy Guevara and that happens, you just hide because there's going to be people coming after. It's like, oh, we could just punch people in the face now. Huh? You choke
Well,
out motherfuckers. Get over here, Sammy.
you know, and that was one time for Sammy. He did get suspended. And the next time, the
Well,
story
technically,
said Andrade was the aggressor.
hmm
So it's like, you know, Sammy learned a lesson. I hope. We haven't heard stories about Sammy Guevara getting into a fight since the Andrade situation.
yeah, he seemingly has learned his lesson. But that's what I'm saying. It's like like Kingston got suspended for the incident with Sammy. Andrade got suspended for the incident with Sammy. I think Sammy might have also got suspended.
Well,
But like if everybody else gets suspended and you don't, then yeah, like you said, there's going to be some problems.
but if you know, I've always said I like to take things situation by situation. If you take the Sammy situation, you have a young guy making mistakes in the business. When it comes to CM Punk, you should have a veteran who knows the business and can act like here's a key word, professional.
Now that I think about it, if they're going to end up bringing in Mercedes, that's going to make for a weird locker room discussion.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's going to be a tense moment catering. Oh boy, oh boy.
but they do have a built-in story with her and Soraya right there.
I met her and Sammy.
Well, true.
Because he apologized for it, and that was years ago, and nothing ever really happened. But
Well, he's actually said he spoke to her since that incident.
yeah, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
if you remember going back, he's look, he did that. He did a fucking anger management or sensitivity class. That's what it was, training.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, he hasn't done anything in a while. I think maybe fatherhood's helping him out, but
Right. But again, you've got a young guy making mistakes. In my opinion, it's a little more forgivable than the veteran legend. Let's face it, Punk is look, I may not like him, I may not agree with him on a lot of things. The guy's a fucking legend in the business. And he is probably a guy that Tony Khan thought was going to definitely be a huge signing for him, keep people interested. But eventually, stuff like this will start turning people away.
Mhm.
It will. It's nobody wants this fucking drama. Nobody wants it. They'd rather see it on television than behind the scenes. But no one wants it behind the scenes, and we hear about it later. I just think of I don't know. Punk should know better. Jack Perry, I'm not making no excuses. He's a young little fucking shit too, and doesn't know any better. Shouldn't, in my opinion, no. He probably shouldn't have said that, but again, I took it as he was fucking with the fans and fucking with the dirt sheets and trolling everybody. Punk obviously took it a different way.
Right.
But I will say for the last time, if you're supposedly in this position of leadership, act like a fucking leader. And you know what? If your leader is out there fucking throwing punches and trying to kick guys' ass, you know what do you know what everyone under you is going to do? The same fucking thing. Trickle down. It's going to trickle down, Smart. So, but anyway, I think I'm not going to harp on last week, but last week I put most of the blame on Tony Khan. You got to grab this fucking locker room by the horns. You've got to grab control, or I think he's doomed. Or hire someone that can, so you're not doomed, which I think is probably the smartest thing he could do. But of course, you know, you got Christopher Daniels back there. But again, he's another one that the guys respect, the guys like. Maybe you need to hire some fucking non-wrestling prick to go back there and fucking handle these bitches. I don't know. Maybe. I could be. They're not going to respect him either. So, you're going to have to get a hard-ass wrestler back there who's got thick skin and can take a little bit of shit from these fucking and straighten out some guys. Take shit once and then fuck it. I'm telling you, where the hell is Bill Watts? I think he's gone, isn't he? No.
Not sure.
I don't know. What about Eric Watts? Get a Watts in there, goddammit.
There you go.
That's fucking any one of them. Find a Watts, bring them in.
Yeah, get Eric Young in there.
I mean, Jesus Christ, he's got so many guys there that could probably take this fucking company over. Not take over. I don't mean that. I don't mean take over. Everyone knows what I mean. Take the locker room over and straighten it the fuck out. You don't think fucking Jake could fucking be honest with someone and tell him, fuck off?
Look, kid, you need to keep your damn mouth shut.
I'll tell you the truth. I'd be scared of Jake at this age. I wouldn't fuck with Jake the Snake. I'm telling you now. He should, everyone. Smark, you even mentioned that last week. Norab says, like a Johnny Ace. Smark, if you can keep him away from the women.
Oh man, that would be a good way to get rid of Punk, I suppose. If you bring fucking Johnny Ace in.
Although if you bring him in, you're just that much closer to the Bellas being in that company, and we can stay away from that.
Want to enter Bree mode?
No, God, no. No one wants Bree mode or Nikki mode or. Listen, let's just stick with. Listen, let's just keep with cornholing and Nikki Bella, okay? So anyway,
maybe
Smart.
Michael Hayes in there.
Oh no, he's working right now.
I know, but you never know what the future might hold.
I mean,
but for real, like, okay, why not, like, like you said, like maybe an Arn Anderson, fucking Jerry Lynn, Dustin Rhodes, one of those kind of people.
Okay, so they have all these guys. Have they not been told that they're allowed to step up and talk? Or is no one listening? And if no one's listening, then you've got a bigger problem. And hiring somebody that can handle these guys isn't going to fucking work. If they're not going to listen to a Dustin Rhodes or Dustin Runnels, whatever you want to fucking call him, or an Arn Anderson, or guys, if they're not going to listen to them, then you are fucked. You are fucked if they're not going to listen to any of those guys, because those guys are absolute fucking OG legends in this fucking business.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there was already that article that came out where like Hangman's like, I don't pay attention to that shit, and like I guess everybody dismissed it as just him being dumb, but maybe that's sort of indicative of a more company-wide situation.
No, that's bullshit. That's what did Dirk just sent me a Bremo thing when who was it? Lana made fun of her. I'll pull it up. Give me a sec here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who else. I mean, let's think. Who else could you really bring in that could just take that fucking company, turn it around? I listen. We could joke. Scott Steiner. I agree. Okay, Steiner could do it.
HR, fucking head of HR, Scott Steiner.
Oh my lord. I don't know, man.
I like the idea of Scott Steiner like in a full-on like three-piece suit, but he also has the chainmail on.
Oh, of course. Oh, I hope he does. I hope he does. But I mean, really, who could you actually think that could go in there and whip this fucking locker room back into shape? Because you're going to have someone that can stop the leaks. You're going to have someone that the people respect and listen to. That's three things right there so far. You're going to have someone that has pretty thick skin because some of these guys are just fucking smart ass little punks, no pun intended. And what else? You're also going to have someone that can be tough yet fair, which is always a hard one to be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. He's got Norab says Conan. I don't know about Conan, Billy Gunn. They do have Billy Gunn. They've got Sting. How could someone not listen to Sting? He's like one of the nicest fucking guys in the world. And smart, knows the business, has been in forever. They have all these guys. So how are they failing so bad? There's only one answer, Smark. It's the leaks. No, it's the leaks. I don't even think it's Tony. I think if the leaks weren't there, Tony could hide more.
Perhaps.
I think it's the leaks. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, okay. I figured it out.
Uh-oh.
Because you're saying you want somebody who's experienced,
Mm-hmm.
who, you know, he's been around, he's seen it, he's done it. People respect him. He can be tough, but he can be fair. Tim Storm. Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Tim Storm.
Possibly. I mean, they've got, Christopher Daniels. CM Punk sent his ass packing. That didn't work. So they've got a lot. I mean, Billy Gunn just looks like he is having the most fun right now. Please don't put him in a leadership position. I want this Billy Gunn because Billy Gunn looks like he is having the best times of his career right now. Mm-hmm. I want this Billy Gunn. Don't give Billy Gunn any responsibility. I want Billy Gunn all free and loosey goosey to keep doing the things he's doing. JR, I'm sorry, you're not going to get anyone to listen to JR right now. It ain't going to happen. Mark Henry, I would listen to Mark Henry. I would listen to everyone on, honestly, I would personally listen to everyone on this list right here. Here, he's got Conan, Billy Gunn, Sting, Arn, Jake, JR, Tony S, who's Tony S? Who's
Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone. You're very good. Mark Henry, Big Show, all these guys. I would listen to every fucking one of those. Yes, even Big Show. Absolutely, I would listen to every fucking one of those guys. So if you have all those big talents there, I'm not sure how much Conan is really there. I don't think he's one of the day-to-day guys that are there. You got all these guys, though, and you're still having problems in your company. You can't look at one of these guys and say, who wants to step the fuck up? Or is Tony Khan just so much of a fucking egotistical bastard that he doesn't want to give up his control. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. Could that be it? Could Tony just not want to give up control? He thinks oh, I've got this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Well, guess what? You ain't got. No Rep says bring in Dana White. Fuck. God damn it.
I mean, yeah, if he'll do it, why?
Well, he's kind of got his hands full.
I'm gonna put a feeler out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, fuck that whole Endeavor deal that he's probably making fucking another $1 billion on. Yeah, fuck all that. Yeah. Let's go over to this fucking rinky dink company. No, folks, I was joking when I said rinky dink company. No one even knows what fucking rinky dinks are anymore.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
You mean Nick Gage?
Well, oh God, yeah.
I mean, he'll get results.
I mean, yeah, they can all go rob a bank together.
But he does seem like somebody who would like fight you if you fucking shit talked him. So I mean, that might be a way to get people to fall in line.
Gage said, "Come on now, you guys are my new crew. All right, who's got the gun?"
Maybe that's it. Maybe you don't need an authority figure. Maybe you just need like Nick Gage to tell everyone that he loves them, and like everybody will be more mellow.
There you go. Where's Cash Wheeler? Cash, you got the gun? I love you, brother.
I'm fucking sorry that he made fun of your accent, but I fucking appreciate your accent and I love your accent. Everything's gonna be okay. You want to hug? There's cookies and catering. I fucking love you.
I heard there was punch and pie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
You like pecans, motherfucker?
Where's punch and pie? I was told there was punch and pie. Okay.
Norab said if only New Jack was still alive. I swear to God, I was thinking the same thing.
That, you know what? That would not be a bad one. That would not be a bad one. Talk about a guy who has thick skin and can take some fucking shit and no one would fuck with. Yeah, absolutely. That would be a good one. So I don't know, man. I just think if you have all that talent there, all these guys that we previously mentioned, and still we're having all this bullshit happen backstage. And I think it's fucking, again, Mark, the optics don't look good. You may be profitable, but if you're looking for a TV deal, some companies just don't want to deal with backstage bullshit.
Right.
So, optics, my man. Scared Straight AEW edition. That's what it would be if New Jack was on.
He's just yelling at the various people, fucking yelling at Andrade, yelling at Sammy, yelling at Taz for no real reason other than just shit that happened 20 years ago.
Good God, if Arlie Ermy was still alive, we'd bring his ass in. I would. Jesus. All right. You know what? I've had enough of that. I don't think we need to talk anymore about this. We've gone over the fact that Tony Khan needs to run his company, as we've said many times. CM Punk isn't completely to blame for all this. Jack Perry shouldn't have said what he said. I think we've covered every fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
You think so? All right, Smark. Then you actually have one more, and then we'll decide if we want to do predictions first or Dynamite, which I think maybe we can do the same thing we did last week. We'll see. Whatever you want to do, but let's hit up this one real quick, Smart. Go ahead and knock this bad boy out of the park.
Yeah, this is a really quick one. Wednesday's AEW Dynamite had to be rewritten at the last minute due to several wrestlers missing the show. Hurricane Idly. Now, I understand that it's Adelia, but they misspelled it, so I mispronounced it.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you hire proofreaders.
Yeah. Yeah, right there?
Anyways, it was. Hurricane Adelia prevented Kenny Omega and some others from Florida from flying to Chicago. Swerve Strickland and the new AEW Women's Champion Saraya missed the show due to illness as well. which is also why I coughed up a long a second ago. While the nature of their illness is unknown, Soraya was announced for a match on Saturday's Collision.
Yeah, there you go. Now, we were expecting some people to be out anyway because Tony Khan did say that anybody who wanted to go to the service for Bray could be out. So I was expecting some names to be out of there anyway, but I got to tell you, it didn't really seem to fucking matter. I thought they had a pretty goddamn good go home show for the pay per view this weekend.
Ooh. One more.
Okay.
One more suggestion. I understand that he works for WWE at the moment, but he's not long for WWE if you're following like what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Riddle. He can fight for real, and he puts up with nobody's bullshit. Like, you just have him just like, okay, drug testing might be an issue.
It might. It could
but,
be.
like, when they were having that whole argument with, like, the Roman Reigns, like, comment about Punk not moving the needle, and, like, they got into, like, this little mini, like, war of words.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember Riddle tweeting out that, like, neither of you guys can, like, win real fights. You're fucking nerds. Shut up. And I was just like, that's what we need in AEW. Like, we need him to come along and just look at Perry and look at Punk and be like, you guys cannot fight. Just knock it off.
Might not be a bad one there, but I don't know, man. I mean, I really don't want to get into it again. I'm going to crack another beer and take a sip. All right. So, Smark, what do you want to do? You want to do predictions? And, I mean, we'll end up talking about AEW. Want to do predictions first?
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, because we end up talking about Dynamite when we do that. We'll actually even talk a little bit about some All-In stuff while we're doing that, so it'll kind of all coincide with everything. Now, Nora just put up this thing that says Punk Talks. This is going to be that he's trolling me again, isn't he?
Probably. Bringing it up.
Let me see here. Punk was actually this is at the Cauliflower Alley. I thought so. Minute and 3. Here, give me a second. Let me pause that. It's muted. Let me unmute this. I can play this for you guys.
Because none of this is about me. I stand on the shoulders of giants, literally. I would not be able to do any of this if it wasn't for people like Eddie Guerrero, for people like Tracy Smothers. I wish Chris Candido was here. And I am now, thank you.
Nice.
I am now at the age where, unfortunately, my contemporaries are passing away. Jay Briscoe, Bray Wyatt, two people who should still be with us. Two people who I consider to be young, still. Terry Funk recently just passed away. I was fortunate to know Terry Funk. Man, Terry Funk lived a life. I think if you would have asked Terry right before he went, are you ready to go? He would have told you he was ready to go 10 years ago. But Bray, Jay Briscoe, I don't think they were ready, so I think it's important to remember them.
Very nice. Now, he did go on to get the Iron Mike Mazurki Award at the Cauliflower Alley Club. So, listen, I've never said I have a problem with Punk. I don't know the guy personally. He does come off like an asshole. I don't really have a problem with that, to be honest. But it seems like in his return, and I don't know if it's maybe a leadership role going to his head or what it is, but it seems like Punk has been, fuck this voice of the voiceless shit. He's just been an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's a difference between like not putting up with bullshit and like getting to the point where like if it's every week, then it's like maybe you need to re-examine how you handle situations.
might not be a bad idea. So, all right. I think we've had enough of Punk tonight. I think we have. So let's go ahead and do these quick predictions. We'll get through these bad boys pretty fast. There you go. Let's get this back on screen. Sorry about that, folks. Here we go. Okay. So you want to just start at the top?
Sure.
All right. We have a singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. There it is right there. This is a Luchasaurus with Christian, because Christian thinks he's the champion, versus Darby Allin. In my opinion, this is staying with Luchasaurus. Christian Cage gets involved. I don't think there's any way Luchasaurus is losing this match.
I really don't have any sort of sound logic behind it, but I'm just going to pick Darby.
You're probably thinking Sting may get involved.
It could be. I mean, there's potential for Sting to get involved. There's potential for Christian to have attention elsewhere the next couple of weeks or months or whatever.
But Darby Allin with this title really is what? What does he do? I mean, there's not much to. I just don't think there's much to Darby having this championship. I think you still have this whole Luchasaurus, Christian Cage. Christian still has the Jack Perry thing when he comes back, which ain't over, folks. So I think Luchasaurus keeps this title.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either. I don't have, like I said, I don't really have any profound logic as to why I think Darby could win it, but
all right. Quick singles match, nothing big on this one right here. We got Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I like the little face he's got going here, kind of like a Mr. T look. Miro versus Hobbs. If I were booking this match, I would put Hobbs over, because a win over Miro would be a good thing for Hobbs, which, let's not forget, they've been trying to push Hobbs, but they keep forgetting. So if I was a booker and I was doing this, I would have Hobbs win, and I would have Hobbs win clean, sound, and very, very decisive.
I'm going to go Hobbs too, because I feel like Hobbs benefits more from winning than Miro suffers from losing.
Okay. Good. So now we got a singles match. This is for the TBS Championship. This also kind of culminated last night. Chris Statlander was in a kind of triple threat match, or not triple threat, I'm sorry, triple tag, six-man tag. Jesus Christ. Thank you, Smart, because I can't speak.
Yeah, it was a real showcase of luminaries. Yeah, Emi Sakura was in the match. And
Yep.
Nyla Rose was in the match.
Mm-hmm.
And all the top talent in AEW.
Absolutely. But after the match, we got Ruby Soho coming down, my girl, and attacking Chris Statlander, which made this match for the TBS Championship. Ruby actually stole the title and left it lying on the ramp. So we've got Chris Statlander, which I love this picture. It's like barely any makeup. Chris Statlander. It's a great picture. And Ruby Soho. This is right when she came in. She's got the same face that Hobbs has. Look, Hobbs, Ruby. Same face. Same lips. Man, I got to admit, this one's kind of tough. There really isn't a reason to take the belt off Statlander, but looks like they're sort of doing away with this Outcast thing. Saraya has gold. I would love Ruby to win this. Fuck it, I'm just gonna pick Ruby just because I want her to, and I think There is a story to her winning this title. There
Especially
is.
she debuted in All Out 2021, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible. I mean, again, no real sound logic as to why, but I'm gonna go with Statlander keeping it.
Keeping it. All right. All right. Another match that actually kind of came to fruition last night was Orange Cassidy versus John Moxley for the International Championship. Man, that was a very good promo, unexpectedly good promo by Orange Cassidy last night.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed that. I thought it was pretty cool him going out there. He even said, "I'm not really one for this talking thing," but and then he went on to cut, which I haven't heard him talk very much, but that promo, that was good shit. And then even the end of the show where him and Moxley actually, just kind of got face to face, slapped each other. Good shit there, man.
Yeah, that could be a pretty good feud, especially if they keep it going.
I think so. But I got to tell you, I think the fact that Orange Cassidy cut this promo, that he's tired, but he's here, I think Moxley may take this championship off of him. I think that might have been his way of telling everybody, I may be taking a break after this match.
Yeah, I mean that's been the story they've been telling for months now, is
Yeah.
that he's accumulated different injuries throughout the various defenses that he had, and how he's like basically had the longest like title reign in most defenses like of any of the champions at the moment and all that kind of stuff. So like they've built him as being a credible wrestler at this point.
Right.
So I think it's probably time. It's probably time that Moxley ends up taking it from him, or that there ends up being a successor for the title.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It is very weird though that like that title was like seemingly an afterthought when they made it, and now it's like the more reputable of like any of the titles that they have.
I'm not going to lie. I think Orange Cassidy has a lot to do with that.
Oh yeah, he's done a great job with the title. They've done a great job in exchange by making him look like a credible wrestler, not just a guy that does comedy.
Yeah, being that underdog coming back in all these matches, I really think it's been a help for his character, the title, and just AEW all around. I think it's been a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's Moxley's time. I think it's time for Cassidy to take a break. So there we go. And I do love that the picture on Wiki is, of course, John Moxley bleeding. It's just so fitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm not sharing my screen with you, so you can't even see it, can you?
No, I do have the stream up, but I can't see anything. I could give it here, the Punk clip.
Fuck, man. I'm sorry about that.
No worries, no worries.
I completely forgot to do that tonight. Why don't I do it now for the last few minutes of the show? And there we go.
Fair
We
enough.
can go back to that. Here we go. The picture of Moxley right there.
Mm-hmm.
Bleeding, of course. So, all right, we both think Moxley. It's pretty cool there. We've got another singles match here. This has been another match that's kind of been just kind of going on for weeks, and we knew this was coming. Kenny Omega versus Takeshita with Don Callis. Now, I do have to say, this little segment last night with Don Callis and Takeshita, you can't see Don Callis' head, was pretty cool. They kind of showed, Callis was going through the injuries of Kenny Omega, and he's showing the x-rays and then showing clips of videos of how to inflict more damage on those injuries.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was a really fucking cool little segment. I liked this segment, actually. I thought this was pretty fucking creative. I got a feeling this was completely a Callis idea.
Yeah, it was actually, it was pretty interesting. It was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm. I definitely, though, it just seemed very Don Callis. In this match, I think the best thing to do, again, I'm not usually going with my usual gut on these, I think Takeshita is the smartest way to go with this. Kenny Omega does not need a win here at all, even if you have Callis getting involved and Takeshita wins with a, dusty finish. I think that actually enhances the story. I say Takeshita takes this by hook or by crook, if that makes any sense to you.
I believe Takeshita won last week, so I'm gonna go with Omega winning it. Just kind of keep things going, keep an ebb and flow going.
All right. There you go. So we move on. You got a cold, dude?
I do,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Because has the weather started even cooling down for you over there yet, or is it still ridiculous?
It's getting a little bit better. It's like high 80s, but it's just for whatever reason this happens. Usually like a week or two before my birthday, and so it's right on schedule.
Let's see. It's 10:37 here. Let's see what the weather is. Oh, we're at 88 degrees. We're like a cold front coming in. So, all right, man. Well, we don't have much more, and we can go ahead and wrap this up, Smark. I don't need you sitting here sick. I'd rather you get some rest.
Infecting the listening audience.
No, I know you're not going to infect me with anything. You got COVID, motherfucker?
I hope not.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, I know that I've gone to the gym the last 5 days, so that's either helping or making it significantly worse.
Probably helping. Either way, sweating it out's always a good thing, man. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and kind of read out the next match while you're doing your thing there. We have Bullet Club Gold, which we all know who they are. They got the Gun Club with them. So we got Bullet Club Gold, which is Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Jay White, and Juice Robinson, versus FTR. We know them, Cash Wheeler, Dax Hardwood, and the Young Bucks. Now, this was another match that they kind of came to fruition last night when basically all the guys did was just kind of go in the locker room. Now, this was a weird segment because they had this like cardboard cutout of, here, hold on a second, of Jay White. I don't know why that picture's not dropped down, but anyway, I'm not worried about it. They had this cardboard cutout of Jay White there, and it almost looked like it was CGI'd in. It was so crazy.
Which I say that they need to have at some point, like a promo exchange between Dax and the cardboard cutout of Jay White.
Oh, yeah. You making fun of my accent?
Well, yeah, because he's smiling at him. So he's like, you gotta be making fun of my accent.
I know you're making fun of my accent. Did you bring my daughter into this? Oh, shit. I don't know, man. Anyway. I thought this was a hilarious little segment last night. But this is where this match got made. And there you go with that. So we've got this match. So Bullet Club versus FTR and the Bucks. 8-man tag team match. I'm going to say, since the Bucks lost at All In, no way they lose it all out. FTR and the Bucks win this match.
Yeah, for pretty much the same exact reasoning. Also going to go with FTR and Bucks.
It kind of writes itself. You know, they got FTR against, they lose to FTR, they join forces with FTR, they win with FTR. It all kind of writes itself, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's very wrestling-esque, as I guess it should be. All right, so let's keep going with this a little bit, folks. We've got another one here. We've got Better Than You, baby. Adam Cole and MJF versus whoever wins the ROH Tag Team Battle Royal, and that's going to be tomorrow night, folks. So we're not going to be able to actually tell you this winner of this match, but I will say I think no matter who they face, I think Cole and MJF should win and stay together. And these titles once they do turn on each other, could very well turn into a great storyline in itself down the line.
Yeah, I would also go with Cole and MJF.
Now, I really don't know who is going to. I mean, we could speculate on who they're probably going to take on in this match. I wouldn't doubt if Roderick joins with either Matt Taven or Mike Bennett, and they end up in the match, and he ends up going against them. I wouldn't doubt it. It may or may not happen, but I think Cole and MJF should win no matter what. And we'll just leave it at that, I guess. So now we got another match here, which was announced last night. We have Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor. I don't know much about Shane Taylor, but this is a match for the ROH World Television Championship, and I don't see any reason to take it off Samoa Joe.
No.
Yeah.
I would go Joe too. It's gonna be a Hoss match though, so that should be fun. Just two
I know.
big guys
I mean,
beating the shit out of each other.
Shane Taylor is not a small guy. This is a fucking Hoss match, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Guy is fucking giant. So, he's a beefy dude, man. So, which brings us to the last match on the card. Now, we could have more matches coming up very soon because we still have Rampage and Collision coming up. Well, yeah, we have both of those coming up still, so could be more. But as of right now, this is Eddie Kingston and Shibata versus the Blackpool Combat Club, which is going to be Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Kingston still looking a little fragile out there, in my opinion, but it's just my opinion. I got to tell you, this is kind of a tough one. You're bringing in Shibata. Do you bring in Shibata to lose?
I don't think he eats the pinfall if they do. I think Kingston eats the pinfall.
I definitely don't see him hitting the pinfall. 100% agree with you there, but do you even bring him all this way to lose a match, or do you have the feel-good team win this and Blackpool? Does Moxley get involved? Nah, I think you might be right. I think Eddie eats the pin. Claudio pins Eddie. Winner. Yeah. Blackpool Combat Club. Claudio getting the pin, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm going with that.
It's hard to say because there's a bunch of different ways you could go with this. Because like when they had the Stadium Stampede match, Orange Cassidy ended up beating Claudio. So I could see a situation where like Shibata ends up being the one that beats Claudio, and Kingston still doesn't get the chance to pin him. And then that causes a rift. I don't know, maybe him and Shibata have a little feud or something. But I feel like they're going to start moving towards, like, maybe for Full Gear, the Kingston-Claudio feud. So maybe Shibata wins, or I'm going to say if I had to pick anything, I would say that Wheeler actually wins because Kingston gets distracted by Claudio, and he's so obsessed with trying to beat him that he ends up like taking his attention off Yuta, and Yuta ends up capitalizing and beating him.
I like it. We got both scenarios for this match. Fucking love it, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's it. That is the pay-per-view mark. Now, I guess what we can do is there was a couple of small things we can bring up on Dynamite that we didn't get to when we were doing this. And then we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Let you get some fucking rest, my man. We're already past 2 hours. I guess really one small thing. Honestly, I'm looking through the list here of everything. We could show the picture of Roderick just to be assholes. And I have no problem with that. So we'll show the picture of Roderick Strong looking there like the little cuck he is. And the one thing that we didn't mention was the Acclaimed actually introduced some new trios titles last night.
Yes.
Smart. Now, I did mention in this segment, I thought Billy Gunn looked like he has looked like he's been having the most fun in his career in the past couple months. Last night, I thought it came through more than anything. He really looks like he is absolutely having the best time of his life right now at this moment. We have the House of Ass now, Smark, and they introduce new belts. They are not only pink, we see they are pink, and they're the small belts, which I like they did the little belts for this. I really do. I've always been a fan of the little belts. Not only are they pink though, Smark, but I'll be damned if they don't scissor themselves.
It's amazing. Like, that's a nice touch, honestly.
I actually, I like the belts, and then when they did this, and Billy Gunn went, "Oh, I can go scissor myself now." You know, I can't even make fun of this anymore after Billy Gunn's comment. It's just
Phenomenal.
It was. It is, and this tag team is over anyway, or not even tag team anymore. Billy Gunn is basically part of the Acclaimed. They're so over this group that the crowd loved this, and this was basically. I mean, they had one more little match after this, but this was pretty much your feel good moment of the show. Because I think at one point I think a lot of people thought that someone was going to interrupt them, but I'm glad they got to do this uninterrupted. I think those belts are ridiculous but fun and hilarious.
Right.
So fuck it, let's go with it. Let's just go with it. Let's have some fun with it, folks. They even did the triple scissor of the belts in the middle. It was fun stuff, man. It was fun stuff, I thought, for that. But I am looking here. We really did. Man, I kind of wish there was a pay-per-view every fucking week now that I think about it, Smart.
Time flies, but I'm by.
We just knocked this shit out. But yeah, folks, obviously, like I said at the beginning of the show, this week was pretty much dominated by the CM Punk Jack Perry thing, which we've pretty much got into in depth. I'm actually glad that we do this show a little later than some shows because we had more information at this moment than people did, 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago, 4 nights ago. So I'm glad we had all the information to give. But again, there is video supposedly of this. And my God, I hope when that gets leaked, we will definitely play it for you guys. If it gets leaked, we will play it for you guys. So, Smart, that's all I got, man. What about you? Anything? Anything else you want to bring up? Anything I forgot? Anything you forgot? Anything we forgot?
No, not really. I think that's going to do it. Unless we want to get into some plugs real quick.
Get into what?
Get into some plugs real quick.
Of course, because you are very
Monday,
close. Around the corner. Smart, tell them about it.
That's right. This is not a drill. This Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Totally Inappropriate Sports. We are back. We are back on the YouTube and the Mixler, but that's basically a Bobby Anthem exclusive. So come join us there and have ourselves a merry little time, why don't you?
There you go, man. All right, folks. Smart, have a good time on that show. I hope you feel better. Get some rest. And folks, had a great time tonight. Definitely appreciate everybody coming by. Chat room, you guys have been great the past couple of weeks, and I really appreciate it. Y'all are just kind of keeping the show rolling, and I appreciate your comments. Downloaders, I really appreciate you. Of course, you guys know, keep subscribing. Tell someone to subscribe. Tell someone to subscribe. And before we go, I got a funny story, Smart. Friday, my oldest one, Logan, my 14-year-old, comes up to me and he goes, I got to tell you a story. I go, okay. My 14-year-old's kind of keeps to himself. He's a little bit of a loner. Not like the worry about it loner, but like a little bit of a loner.
Just an introvert, basically.
A little bit. A little bit. So he comes up to me and he goes, now he plays a game with his friends and he goes, my friend's sitting there and he tells me at right when you go in the room and he tells me he has to listen to a podcast. And he said, these guys are great. They're funny, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I asked him what it was. He said, it was your podcast, Daddy. He said, I spent the next half hour trying to convince this guy that I'm really your son. And you're my dad.
There you have it.
So we are popular with 15-year-olds. So to that 15-year-old, I thank you, sir. I appreciate you listening. And yes, Logan is my son. I am his father. And tell everyone at the school about it and tell them not to make fun of my kid for me being the way I am. Let's just go with that. And there you go, folks. I just thought I'd share that story with everybody real quick because it was weird.
I do like the idea that somewhere out there are teenage people listening to us talk about like NYPD Blue and fucking movies from the 1980s.
I always thought it was weird because sometimes I think, I guess we need to learn our demographic.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we need to learn our demo. But then again, my humor is that of a 15-year-old.
Yeah, oh yes. I mean, I have the emotional maturity of a middle school. I mean, not even a middle school. We're just keeping it straight fucking elementary.
As do I.
There is not a dick joke in the world that will not make me chuckle.
Sir, this is why we're doing a show together and get along so well. Exactly. Our humor is the same. And I watch movies of a person my age. So it's a good mixture, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I appreciate everyone listening. I appreciate everyone downloading. I appreciate Smark. I hope he feels better. And folks, enjoy. If you're having a 3-day weekend, enjoy it. You deserve it. Relax. It's Labor Day. So hopefully you have a 3-day weekend. I do. I am doing absolutely fucking nothing. Nothing. I am planning on doing nothing this weekend. So everyone take it easy. Relax. And on that note, as usual, next week,